And so to see a symbol of hate like that was really upsetting.
She's talking about a Nazi flag. Tonight, what we're hearing from the community and city about the hate symbol flying over their neighborhood. CBS News Detroit at 11 starts right now.
On air and streaming live. CBS News Detroit at 11 starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight on CBS News Detroit. We are on the air and streaming on the CBS News app. I'm Shaina Humphries.
And I'm Jeff Skversky. The big story tonight at 11. More snow is on the way, which is shaping up to make the trip home Wednesday night a mess. Let's get right to next weather meteorologist Ahmed Badji, who is tracking the latest in this forecast.
And it's, we're making up for lost time. January came in and went, you know what? It is winter in Michigan. We're supposed to have snow.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I know. We're getting it all in 1 week, right? So here's what we got shaping up with it. And, I mean, you know what? I grew up here, born and raised in Dearborn, and we get snow every winter, but this is a rather busy week for us. So let's start off with what we've got right now. The temps outside your window, normally we'd say, okay, they're in the 20s, low 30s, that's fine. Here's the issue with it. We had just enough snow, and we were just warm enough to start melting that. So all the pavement, like on your sidewalk or your driveway, is starting to get a little wet, or it has been through the day. Watch for that to start to refreeze overnight tonight. So if you haven't had a chance to salt it, keep an eye out as we start the morning tomorrow, because that is likely to be a little slick. Now, getting past that, the issue here that we're going to watch for very, very closely is how long all that really stays that way. Because while we go further into the next 7, and we have that winter storm right here on Wednesday, we go even further all the way toward the end of the week, and we have another one and another one. We have 3 separate systems this week. Wednesday, of course, being the big one, but Friday and going into the end of the weekend, Sunday into Monday, are still pretty easy going on their own. That's going to be a bigger issue that we have to watch for very closely. But for tomorrow, the snow is just creeping in right here very late in the night going into early Wednesday morning. But that's not the heaviest point. We're going to time out the heaviest point and also look at the specific numbers. And yes, we can actually give you some specific numbers of what we're looking at for that snow forecast. We'll take a look at that basically right through a magnifying glass in our next look at the forecast.
We can really plan our days around it.
Yes, there's a specific time you really need to watch for the heaviest to be, and it's not at a great time.
Great.
I know.
All right, thank you, Ahmed.
Happy news.
A symbol of hatred is causing controversy in one Hamtramck neighborhood. A Nazi war flag was hung outside a resident's home. We're zooming in on Hamtramck tonight, where CBS News Detroit's Gino Vici has been talking to outraged neighbors.
Well, city officials say they certainly don't condone it. However, they do say this resident has a First Amendment right to fly a Nazi flag. Well, residents I spoke with tonight say that certainly doesn't make it right to do it.
Immediately, I think we both just got really upset.
This neighbor who didn't want to show his face on camera couldn't hide his emotions after seeing this. Someone in the neighborhood flew a Nazi flag on their front porch.
And so to see a symbol of hate like that was really upsetting.
On Sunday morning at this home on Doremus Street in Hamtramck, a resident put up this Nazi war flag. Neighbors say they couldn't believe it.
Because this is such a wonderful neighborhood. We love living here so much. I mean, just every size, shape, and color lives in Hamtramck, and everyone is welcome here. So it was surprising to see it on my street.
Walking around Hamtramck, that's easy to see. There are tons of different flags representing different countries, different identities, representing a very diverse population here.
It was very shocking.
Former Mayor Karen Majewski says there is no place for this Nazi symbol of hatred, even if it's a First Amendment right, and says she's glad it's now gone.
The flag was up for less than 24 hours as far as we can tell. But obviously the community reacted very strongly and very quickly as soon as the word got out.
Again, that Nazi flag has been taken down. One city official told me off camera tonight that when they asked the resident about the flag, that resident responded by saying he was unaware the flag was put up, but what is clear tonight, this community will not accept any symbols of hate. In Hamtramck, I'm Gino Vici.
Now, Gino Vici did try to contact a person living at the home, but he did not hear back. Gino Vici will be sharing stories out of Wayne County. He's there to find stories that matter to you and your community.
New at 11 tonight, months after that tunnel fight between the Michigan and Michigan State football teams, some changes are coming to the Big House. Michigan is now working to expand that tunnel. school officials say it will help widen access to the field for the players, coaches, and game day personnel. And they say it's a direct result of a thorough safety review after the season in which there were several incidents involving players and fans. To make way for the bigger tunnel, about 45 seats will be removed at the base of the tunnel in Section 1. The university says all season ticket holders in the affected area have been notified and will be relocated.
Now to an update on the legal battle over a Van Gogh painting that is on display at the Detroit Institute of Art. A Brazilian art collector claims it's his painting and it was stolen. And tonight, that collector is pushing back against the most recent ruling in the case. The collector filed an appeal today, according to the Detroit Free Press. He's looking to overturn the judge's ruling that the museum is protected from returning the painting under the Immunity from Seizure Act. In a statement, the DIA said they're reviewing the recent filing with their legal counsel.
If you own any guns, Detroit police are asking that you make sure they are secured and stored safely. The reminder comes after a 5-year-old shot himself in the hand with a gun that was not secured. Police tell us the little boy is in the hospital tonight and will likely lose part of his thumb. The accidental shooting happened Saturday afternoon at a home on the 5800 block of Woodhall Street on Detroit's west side, just south of I-94. DPD Assistant Chief Charles Fitzgerald tells us it could have been even worse.
You have to start securing these weapons. In the house with this young man, 5-year-old was another 3.5-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a newborn. And this could have been a whole lot worse. Very, very thankful this young man's going to survive.
He went on to say that the boy's mother was also in the house at the time of the shooting, and if the investigation finds there was neglect, they will pursue charges.
Well, life comes full circle for a woman who won her battle with cancer.
She is now a pediatric grad nurse at a hospital in Royal Oak, where she's trying to give the kind of care she once received as a cancer patient. Our Alicia Bergio has the story tonight from Beaumont Hospital at 13 Mile and Woodward in Royal Oak.
For 24-year-old Molly Pratt, being able to work in the same hospital that changed her life is humbling, and she only hopes she can be as much of an inspiration as the staff here were to her.
Without that cancer diagnosis, I wouldn't have found my true calling in life.
It was October 2014, homecoming right around the corner, and the year Molly Pratt was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, a form of blood cancer.
I was focused on what dress, my ACT scores. So getting a cancer diagnosis when you're 16 is not the normal thinking process.
After several rounds of treatment, even relapsing twice, Pratt is cancer-free. Through it all, she always stayed positive, leaning on the nursing staff at Beaumont Hospital in Royal Oak.
I never would have thought, looking back like 5 years ago, that I would have been where I am today.
Lori Johnson, one of Pratt's nurses, inspired her so much, Pratt herself decided to pursue the same thing.
She's born to be a nurse. She's going to be a huge asset to our unit, and I'm very, very, very excited to be working with her.
You heard that right. After graduating from Saginaw Valley State University last month, Pratt is now walking the halls with those who cared for her, like Johnson, but this time caring and connecting with her own patients.
Hi, I'm Molly. I'm working with you today.
I want them to find the hope and encouragement and inspiration that the nurses gave to me.
She can honestly say she's been there, she's done it.
In Royal Oak, I'm Alicia Bergio.
Just 10 days after Dearborn's huge, highly anticipated Ramadan Suhoor festival was canceled, it's back on.
Our Ibrahim Samra sat down one-on-one with the founder of the festival and has more on why.
As you can imagine, doing anything nowadays costs more than it did before, and for this festival, inflation certainly caused organizers to initially cancel. But after an unbelievable amount of support, the festival will be back here at the Fairlane Town Center, and in a big way.
If you were able to describe what has happened in the last 10 days, how would you describe it in one word?
Adrenaline. It's been an adrenaline rush, and I'm just happy it's gonna be back on this year.
From canceled,
look, it's disappointing,
to calling it back.
It's back, Ramadan Sword Festival 2023.
Organizer Hassan Shami says the Ramadan Suhoor Festival
Make your call, do what you gotta do. I just have to be transparent with you.
means too much to let money
Everything is doubled.
get in the way.
The festival is bigger than me, it's bigger than Dearborn, but just the amount of Muslims and non-Muslims that come is just, it's mind-blowing. And then,
That's why he put up a poll on social media for the people to decide.
I want to hear from the community. Would you be okay with paying a little more attention to the festival? Is the festival that important to you?
And well, the results nearly one-sided.
And over 70% of the poll said yes.
The festival, which first began in 2018, brought in over 50,000 people last year. And while Shami says the festival is all about bringing people together, his main focus
So on behalf of the Ramadan Suhoor Festival,
is giving back.
we'd like to give $218,000.
You scroll down and you start to read what some people are saying. There was one person was basically begging, saying, please do not cancel the festival. I'm a convert. When you read things like that, how does that make you feel?
That gave me goosebumps because I read that same exact comment. And so when I saw that comment, I realized this is the responsibility that I took upon myself and my family, and that I owe this to the community to continue to go keep going forward with this.
Now, Shami says the vendor application is live on their website right now at RamadanSuhoorFestival.com. You can also find a volunteer application for those who want to help make this year's festival happen. Reporting here in Dearborn, I'm Ibrahim Samra.
And you can find our Ibrahim Samra in Wayne County telling more of these stories that affect your community. He is there in your neighborhood when you need him. And for those of you watching in Hamtramck tonight, we are also always on your block around the clock. You can watch anytime, anywhere on the CBS News app, which is available for free.
Michiganders enjoying the lack of snow? Well, the warmer temperatures the last few months have left some local businesses in the cold. The story up next. Plus,
And our forecast all about that snow for midweek. We have locations hour by hour and just how much you can expect in your backyard right on the other side of the break.
You're watching CBS News Detroit.
thanks for staying with us tonight at 11. The snowfall in Metro Detroit has been few and far between so far this winter.
Some of us might have been enjoying the mild conditions, but not everyone. Snowplow companies say this has been bad for business. Our Chris Walker is at Woodward and Owen Street in Detroit, finding out how these plow companies are handling the slow winter.
A snow day could mean a payday for plow operators, and they say it's been a long time coming following this season's winter drought. Curtis Jackson of 57 Lawn and Landscaping says business has been slow since the start of the season.
You know, people losing employees because, you know, bills got to be paid. I probably lost about 3 of them.
He says his company heavily depends on the weather, and if there's no snow, oftentimes there's no business.
It's hard to say what's going to happen. You know, it's all about, you know, getting seasonal contracts. You get some seasonal contracts to make sure, you know, it may sound crazy, but if it don't snow, you still paid.
According to the National Weather Service, Michigan saw approximately 9.6 inches of snow in January 2021. This year, totals are down 40%.
I done had days where we getting 8 inches. And I done wouldn't spent a few grand on equipment and nothing, you know. So that was tough because that's what happened to me earlier this winter.
And while forecasters are predicting more snow this week, Jackson says he's feeling optimistic in hopes that the weather turns in his favor.
I want all the snow. Yeah. Like, give me all the snow. I know people are like, oh, why he praying for it? Because that's how I make my money, you know. If you was in my business, you would feel like the same, you know. I'm getting prepared for the spring. So I'm already ready for spring. The rest of this winter, I'm ready. Whatever it gives me, I'll take it.
From Detroit, I'm Chris Walker.
Next, weather meteorologist Ahmed Badji joins us now, and I guess spoiler alert for the snowplow industry, but things are going to change pretty soon for them.
We finally get to catch up. I mean, this is the warmest start to a January since the early 1930s.
Wow.
I mean, it's been a while. I'm sure none of us remember that one. But as we go into the end of the week, of course, we'll have passed through a bigger winter storm, and then we've got actually 2 separate rounds. one going into the weekend and the one ending it. So here's what we've got actually outside your window for this first one. The winter storm, already having some winter storm watches here for Lenawee, Monroe, and Wayne counties. Those go from 7 a.m. on Wednesday until 10 o'clock in the evening Wednesday. The entire thing is just Wednesday. That's the entire timeline for this thing. And the main issue is actually most of it happens after the morning commute. It will start during, but the heaviest is after. So it kind of lulls you into that false sense of security. And that's what you see when we look at that 7-day setup, because Wednesday's the main day for it. There's nothing on Tuesday. There's nothing on Thursday. Friday, we have another little clipper, and that's focused mainly late in the day. Sunday and into Monday, that's a better shot at actually getting a bit more in the way of that snowfall finally getting a chance to accumulate. So let's break this down. Hour by hour, we're going to start here going into your Tuesday. Tuesday into Wednesday, here's the line starting to move in. We're going to start at about 5 a.m. So just before the morning commute, real light stuff. You can see it's very broken. But beyond that point, the heavier stuff starts to move in after 9. So you're all at work, kids are at school. Now the snow is falling. It continues falling through the day, and it keeps going into the early evening. It's really tapering off once we get past 6 o'clock in the evening. But that's the issue. The heaviest is falling from about lunchtime up through when school buses are on the road. So it should start to taper off after about 4 or 5 and really drop after 6. That's the key. It's at its worst right in the middle of the day through the end of the school times there for the middle of our week. Now, when we look at that and we start to break this down, some of these numbers actually look pretty good here for us, at least. Some of the heavier stuff down to the southeast here, especially that 5 to 8 mark toward Monroe, going into the southeast parts of Lenawee County, same thing up toward Ann Arbor, Detroit, 3 to 5, maybe a little closer to 6 there. Watching actually for some of the lighter stuff even further up to the north, but I went heavier in Sanilac because of some lake effect that should be coming actually in off of Lake Huron at the very tail end of it, giving you just one more boost that could end up with an extra inch down near the Port Huron area. But if this is to shift around a little bit more, we might have to adjust Adrian up another inch and maybe Detroit. But for the most part, we're right in that solid range for a nice winter storm system. This isn't the end of the world. I mean, we're supposed to get snow. We always do. We haven't had a good system swinging through. So just remember, snow is slippery, and we're going to see a good chunk of it there going through the day on Wednesday.
Obviously, that's a big concern. Wednesday night, kids coming home from school,
Yes.
mom and dad heading home from work, a concern you'll be keeping an eye on.
Absolutely. And again, it's good news for the plow crews, of course, but it is going to be around for a little bit.
All right, we'll be ready for it. Thanks, Ahmed.
And don't forget, we're always on your block, working around the clock, and that includes you in Sterling Heights. We're streaming live tonight on the CBS News app.
Coming up on CBS News Detroit at 11, the holidays are over, but it is still the season of giving for the Salvation Army.
What the Salvation Army needs you to do to help them continue serving the Detroit community.
Multi-skilled journalists working in your communities.
Luke, first off, welcome to CBS News Detroit. And the Salvation Army, they need extra help this time of the year. What needs to be done and what can be done?
Jeff, Shaina, yes. In short, the Salvation Army nearly $800,000 short of their $8.2 million goal there, unfortunately. Salvation Army Metro Detroit Area Commander Bob Mueller is saying the turnout, it's simply not there this time around. Mueller says they've seen a noticeable drop at the kettles that we see outside of those box stores or other populous locations. He says the funds donated during this campaign help keep their services going. Those are services like food, shelter, and others that help get past those struggles.
We need your help, and like we do every year, but this year even more so because we haven't realized our fundraising goals, and we don't want to have to resort to pulling back on our programs and services.
Now, those donation links and more on their winter programs can be found over on our website, cbsdetroit.com.
Now, Luke, I was stationed during the holidays, volunteering at Bush's Market, helping the Salvation Army raise money. People were very friendly, coming out and helping out, donating money, but you're saying it's still not enough.
Yeah, Mueller was saying they're feeling that pinch of inflation. It's not saying that people are being selfish to any extent. They're just saying that people simply can't donate right now. So they're really seeing that shortage there in those little kettle buckets that we see.
But it's a helpful reminder throughout the year that the holiday season is not the only time that campaign is going on, and you can give back hopefully later in the year when people are more able to.
That's right.
All right. Luke, thank you very much.
For those of you watching in Macomb County, you can always find our Luke Laster in your community, working for you. He's there and committed to sharing your stories.
For those of you at home in Redford Township, remember we are working around the clock for you, streaming free on the CBS News app. We'll be right back.
All right, sports anchor Ronnie Duncan is here with us. Detroit Mercy basketball star Anton Davis moved into second place on the all-time scoring list the other night. Now, every time teams come in here, they're trying to shut him down.
Oh, and tonight they got it shut down. A rivalry game. That's what it's all about in sports. Tonight, the Horizon League, Detroit Mercy, hosted their rival Oakland. Mercy's Mike Davis appeared to be a little frustrated. You know, his squad was down at halftime, 38-25 to the Golden Grizzlies. Regardless of that fact, it is Titans territory. Trey Townsend of Oakland with the get that stuff out of there. And that was Tim Hardaway, the Hall of Famer. However, when it came to getting deep, hell yeah. Anton Davis wasn't a man. He did not have a lot of points, only got 14. Desmond Anderson was there, but the final score was all about Detroit Mercy winning this game. No, they lose it to Oakland, and Oakland gets it done, and they win it big. But the one guy says, look, man, they are blocking me. I can't score. Let's hear what Davis has to say about a 76-67 game.
Seeing how defenses played me over the years, and probably they won't change how they defend me. So, you know, you'll see I've seen some of the craziest defenses thrown at me. My freshman year, I had the ball, I would dribble up the court. Then past half court, I'd have two people double me and made me get it out of my hands. And I'd have two people just steal on me still. And, you know, I've never seen anything like that. It's the craziest stuff you'll ever see.
Crazy. Okay. You only had 14 points. As you can see, Oakland won the game. Now, let's head down the street. I'm talking Little Caesars. The Pistons hosted the Milwaukee Bucks, and this game was over at halftime. The Bucks led it 83-55 at the half. And yes, when you speak of this game, you know you got to talk about the Greek Freak. There he is. Antetokounmpo, Giannis, yeah, you gotta go. It wasn't boring. It was a slaughter, 150-130. Come on, Giannis had 29 points. He was 11 of 17. Tell me, how do you play defense? You don't do it when you play the Detroit Pistons. That's a look at sports. I'm your guy, and you can always check me out, Ronnie Duncan. 3, 2, 1, I'm done.
Defense, it's half the battle.
You got it.
Thank you, Ronnie.
All right.
I don't think anyone's stopping the Greek Freak, though. All right, listen up, Warren. We're always streaming on the CBS News app around the clock. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Our next weather team has been hard at work over the last few months, putting together the tools and technology that will help them keep you in the loop. Our next weather meteorologist will make sure you are ready for what's next at a moment's notice.
And you might be asking yourself, what exactly does next weather mean? How does it impact you? Here's our next weather team to show you what it's all about.
This was Fort Myers as Hurricane Ian made landfall this afternoon.
Please, we encourage you all to please stay off the roads.
Weather forecasts are something that people can get anywhere, right at their fingertips, from their smartphone to their smartwatch. Now, in this environment, it's extremely important for meteorologists to stand out and deliver a forecast in a way that people can't get anywhere else. Next Weather is truly about what comes next. One of our first priorities is delivering the 7-day forecast right away during Weathercast, and then we can dive on into the gritty detail. Our forecast here, we're going to start off with the extended forecast for 2 reasons. One, it's fantastic.
The Next Weather Tracker is a huge benefit. We have the capability to take it across the market and tell our viewers exactly how the weather will affect them now and in the next few hours. In a severe weather situation, we started to send out automatic alerts to social media that includes the specific weather alert, radar, and safety tips.
We can also create custom mobile alerts through our weather system that can go to geo-fenced areas, so only people within that boundary, down to the size of a stadium, will be the only ones that get that alert. We can share video, pictures, and even comments instantaneously across all platforms, creating an infinite network of spotters, which our meteorologists can then verify on the fly.
We also updated our crawl system to show all the weather alerts while cross-promoting back to our CBSDetroit.com weather page. Next Weather is an all-around way to connect to our community by giving them the information they need, whether it be streaming, on air, or on social.
Now, it's flashy, it's cool, it can drive in anything, but it's actually filled with tools that will really help you and the rest of the team.
That was a big thing, especially when we were getting that thing ready for the road. It's got a full sensor suite in it to be able to read all kinds of regular weather conditions that you get, but it also has a sensor in it that specifically reads things like the road surface temperature, so we can figure out on the fly, you know, how fast is snow actually going to accumulate on the road. Is it
You know
gonna
what it
melt?
is? It's the Batmobile for weather.
It is. It is. I like that.
Are you saying he's Batman?
Of course, and you're Robin.
Damn, wow.
Love it. And that'll help you later this week because we are preparing.
Yeah, and we're likely going to be getting that thing at least set up. We've got everything set to be able to check it out on Wednesday. I mean, it's a good sized system. We'll be ready for it.
All right, thanks, Ahmed. And thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, we are always streaming on the CBS News app.
For Ronnie Duncan, Ahmed Badji, Shaina Humphries, I'm Jeff Skversky. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow at 6.